Hello.
Hello, Dr.
Dr.
K.
K. Hello.
Hello.
I was thrilled when I heard about what this is.
Oh, right.
Really?
We're
This is
glad.
really cool.
Okay, talk to us. Why? Is it the forces thing?
Yeah, so I've worked with a lot of people who are in the military, and
Mhm.
gaming is huge in the military, right? So I don't know what it's like in the UK and with the British Armed Forces, but in the US, it's like some amount of work and just lots of downtime, right?
Yeah,
So
for
you'll have
sure.
like an 8-hour shift where you're like repairing cars and stuff. And then you've got, whatever, like your daily PT or whatever, but then you just have these windows of time. You're kind of stuck on a base somewhere. You can't, you'll have certain days where you're on leave or whatever. And so you're like going, into town. But so on like a daily basis, you're not doing a whole lot. And so gaming has exploded in the military. And there's some really interesting studies that we can talk about that the U.S. Department of Defense has done. But it's huge. I mean, the number of military personnel that like watch our stuff is through the roof. A lot of young men, especially, but also women. I think it's cool. I think it's not something that I would have ever expected that a show like this existed. And now that I understand that it exists, I think it's perfectly appropriate, right? Like this is huge.
But what's your immediate advice to somebody about switching off when you're so used to structure? How do you set boundaries sometimes?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's hard. If we look at how to maintain structure, this is where I think a lot of people will make mistakes in the sense of, okay, I need to make structure, I need to make structure, I need to make structure. So we can offer some tips, but I think the first thing that I usually do, so remember, I'm a psychiatrist, so I work with like individual human beings for the most part, sometimes groups of people, is what makes it hard to implement structure. Instead of just implementing structure, you will notice that there are particular things. So a really good example of this is I have trouble falling asleep, right? So I have trouble falling asleep. So if you have trouble falling asleep, then you're kind of stuck in this like limbo of I'm trying to sleep and I don't sleep. It's been 30 minutes. I really gave it a good shot. And then I whip out my phone. And now I'm browsing for a little while. I start to feel tired. I don't know if y'all have ever experienced this, but then you feel tired on the device. And the moment you start putting it away, you like wake up more. I don't know if y'all have ever had that, right? So you're kind of ping-ponging back and forth.
What's your advice then in terms of, because I found myself, I'm civilian, I'm not military, and I found myself in that vicious cycle, doing the shift that I'm on early shifts. Military personnel, they will be on early shifts, and you get back and you've got this whole day ahead of you, and then you lie in bed at night going, oh, tomorrow I'll do this, and that's what keeps me up. So what's the correct way of battling that?
Yeah, so I think that it's a couple of things. So one is you should exercise. Ideally, like maybe every day, like you want to be wiped at the end of the day. Second thing is don't be overly ambitious, right? So your target for the day is not, this is what's so hard. One of the biggest mistakes you can ever make is to try to achieve your goals. Because if we make big goals and we try to achieve them, we end up kind of falling short. So I think really reduce your goals quite a bit, right? So we kind of want to end up where we want to end up and we strive to get there. That's not really the right way to do it. So if I want to learn all of these things, let's start with just one thing for like 15 minutes. So I use something called the 25% rule. I developed this rule when I was working with parents who had children with video game addiction. And so, they're playing video games a ton. And then I would ask them, what do you want your kid to do? And they'll be like, I want them to play 1 hour a day. And they try to go straight from like 8 hours a day to 1 hour a day. That's way too far. It's kind of like, okay, what do you want to do? I want to run a marathon. Okay, run 24 miles today. Like that's insane. So what I tell people to do is take your goal, cut it in half, and then cut it in half again. That should be your first target. So if you wake up on a day and you're like, I want to do all of this stuff, make a list of all those things, cut half of them out, and then cut half of them out, and then get started. So if you are able to do that sum and you're able to go to bed, on time. So a couple of other rules that I like to tack on. I like to have a big meal for dinner. Everyone's like, don't eat much for dinner. If you really think about it physiologically, if you eat a big meal, what do you feel like doing?
Sleeping.
Right? It will help you go to sleep. And then your brain will actually optimally digest because it's not walking around. It's not running around. It's not even using your brain. Your body will will digest really, really well because all the blood flow is going to go to your GI system, your liver, things like that. So that's really, really good. So have a heavy meal, get that insulin spike. You'll get a little bit of food coma. Fantastic. I don't think you should eat, crazy unhealthy every single day. But if you want, your heaviest meal of the day should not be breakfast. It should be dinner.
And honestly, I know that we've kept you for so long, so thank you so much. But I would kick myself if I did not ask you what your first gaming console was, if you can remember your first gamer tag and your favorite game. Please, Dr. K.
Yeah, so my first gaming console was the Nintendo Entertainment System.
No. NES.
Yeah, NES 8-bit. And then you said, what's my favorite game?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's hard. I don't have a favorite game, but what I think about is gaming experiences. So there was a period of my life where I was in a really, really, really dark place. And then I found that Oblivion, which is an Elder Scrolls game, like I sort of put together my life. I was like meditating and doing yoga for like 3 or 4 hours a day. I was doing a lot of work. I was reading. And then when I finished on the weekends, I remember it was snowing in Boston. I would make myself an amazing cup of tea and I would sit down and I'd play Oblivion for 4 hours. And that's some of the best gaming that I've ever had. What was your third question?
What's your gamer tag?
Yeah, gamer tag.
Your first gamer tag.
I think it's Nub, N-U-B. So that's still what, and I still use it. So back when internet gaming was a new thing, if you wanted to message someone, you had to type out their name. There was no such thing as a friends list. So there was like a command, there was like a whisper command where you had to type /W in their name. So what happened is short names were really, really, really high value. And so I was able to, I tried all kinds of words. And this isn't noob, like this was before the days of noob. Everyone thinks it's noob. But I was just looking for any 3-letter combination that was not taken. And I ended up with Nub. And that's actually still what people call me today.
There we go.
I love this because Jonah, my esteemed co-host over there, has been calling me noob for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, so everyone thinks it's noob. It's not. It's N-U-B.
N-U-B.
It's Nub.
Look,
it's Nub.
Dr. K, we cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
It's been a pleasure. Good luck with the tournament, by the way.
Thank you very much. Dr. K, everyone.
Take care.